Says the sweet Gemara, Shalom Yeshivas Gula Show. This is the 145th more times Superstag. And we're going to learn the Gemara in Yavamos, Daf Samich Beis, Amud Beis. The Gemara says, Amru, you guys can see Amru. Shneimas are Elef Zugos Talmidim, be at 24,000 Talmidim. For Rabbi Akiva, from Kibbad until Antipras. From the city of Kibbad until Antipras. Okay, so they were far away from each other. There wasn't like 24,000 in one building, but the Talmidim dispersed.
You know his father works in finance, right?
No, turn off the volume, please.
Gotcha.
I just, please. Okay. So I can mute all, but I don't want to mute all. Okay. So he had 24,000 Talmidim, and they died, right? Kulam mezu perik echad. So they all died in one time. In one time, let's see what the time is. Because they didn't have respect for each other. They didn't act respectfully towards each other. Now that's a big question. You know, I mean, we try to act respectfully towards one another, but death, Misa, they died because they weren't respectful. Yikes. Bahaya Olam Shamim, in the world was Shamim. Shamim is my Shmuel Menachem Mendel. It means desolate. Rashi says over here, Shenishtacha Taira. Bahaya Olam Shamim, Shenishchach, right? Shenishchach Taira. The Torah was forgotten from those places. I actually like to see it in my Gemara. Right? You see, I have my Gemara here, but you guys can see it. So I made sure that you guys were able to look on also. And also to the people on Facebook, if someone's tuning in on Facebook, we're going live on Facebook. We're doing it for Live of the Infinite. Shout out to Erez. Shout out to all of the holy Yids and Goyim who are talking about Sefira. You know? Okay. So they didn't have kavod for each other, and the world was desolate until Rabbi Akiva came to the Rabosenu Shebidaro. You know? So Rabbi Akiva went to the rabbis in the south, Vishana Lahem, and he taught them. And it was Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar, and Shemua, and they established the Torah after his 24 students, 12,000 students were killed. So one thing that we could see from here, you know, and I was like, oh man, like I have to like do shear right now and like figure out all this computer stuff, and like, why do I have to be the one to deal with it? Why can't it be dealt with someone else? And then we learned the first Gemara, Rabbi Akiva, he wouldn't go, he didn't just sit there and wait for the Talmidim to come to him. He went to them. The Rebbe goes to the Talmidim sometimes. You know? Okay. We see that from Rabbi Akiva. And so it says, also Shah, right? They established the Torah at that time. Tana, it says in a brayza, Kula mezu mi Pesach v'Atzeres. They all died from Pesach to Atzeres, so it's the time now. It's when we're living now in the Sefirat HaOmer, and they all died at this time right now, and that's why we have some minhagim of we have some minhagim of avelos during Sefira, because this is the time that we lost such a significant amount of Jewish children. It was the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. And so they all died from in this time that we're now. Amar of Chama bar Abba, Vidim Rav Chia bar Avin, Kula Mezu Misara. So they all died. It wasn't just that they died, but they actually died a very, very like a bad death. We'll just call it or Misara. A bad death. And so we have to see, well, wait a second, what is that? Why do they call it a bad death? And then the Gemara goes on and it says, Mahi. But what is a bad death? Amar of Nachman. Rav Nachman says it's Askara, which is a disease called diphtheria. So that seems to be the pshat. Yo, is the Facebook even working? I don't even know. And I actually don't care. Like, I'm just teaching Torah, and whatever happens from it will happen from it, you know? Oh, Rez, you want to check on your, like, all right, no problem. All right. So anyways, okay. So we see that the simple understanding is that it's askara. Askara is some kind of disease that, and so we have over here, Rashi talks about what askara is. And so Rashi doesn't actually mention it in this Gemara, but in Shabbos and in Brachos, it says in Brachos of Memam but Aleph, Rashi says B'machmas atzor b'nei me'ayim, that like the insides just completely cease to work, stop working. Interesting. And he mentions that it starts in the stomach, but it ends in the neck. In Brachos, he mentions. Okay. So in this year today, I want to suggest in the kavod of Omer and the schus of Am Yisrael, the schus of the captives and the soldiers, I wanted to say a possible second shot that understands that askara, when it talks about it, how did they all die from this disease? It's really a euphemism. But really, maybe there's another, maybe it's a euphemism for something, euphemism for what? Well, let's see. This other, I have this other shot that's possible, and I think we can learn a lot from this, okay? This next Gemara is a Gemara in Ma'id Katan. Chav Aleph Amud Aleph, okay? I'm just going to find it for you guys. Right? It says Tana Rabbanim, we learn a Brisa. Avel, someone who's an Avel, the 3 Yamim Rishonim, the first 3 days, Asr B'Sheila Shalom, you shouldn't even talk to people. But from 3 to 7, you can answer, but you shouldn't start the conversation. And afterwards, you could just be normal after 7 days. So the Gemara says, wait a second, the first 3 days, you can't address anyone? Is that true? The Hatanya, but doesn't it say in a Brisa? Maizo Mesu Banav Shar Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Akiva's sons died. Very interesting. We could assume that Rabbi Akiva's sons were part of his. Maybe. I don't want to say we could assume. I want to say perhaps Rabbi Akiva's sons, the Banav of Rabbi Akiva, were part of the 24,000. And so they died. Rabbi Akiva, who else can teach Rabbi Akiva's son? Rabbi Akiva's Gadol Ador. He's going to be the teacher. And so they died, his sons. B'shas b'dirasan Amar Rabbi Akiva al Safsal Gadol. So after, right, they gave him a big eulogy, and a lot of people came. Kol Yisrael came, and then when they were leaving, Rabbi Akiva stood on a Safsal Gadol, and he said, "Achenu Beis Yisrael, my brothers, Shimu afilu shnei banim chatanim menucham, who b'shvil kavod shezidem. You guys came into kavod Torah. Even my 2 sons, which were chatanim, which were grooms." It's all like the couple that you gave, they're like, okay, they're chilling, they're resting, knowing that you did big kavod for them. What? Oh, if it works, nice. Okay, so they're talking about the chatanim, and so that reminds us of a Gemara in Sota on Daf Mem Dalet Amud Beis. Here's the Gemara in Sota. Mem Dalet Amud Beis, and the Gemara says that by Milchemes Mitzvah, everyone goes, even a chassan from his cheder. So Rabbi Akiva's sons who died, it could have been specifically Rabbi Akiva mentions that they're chatanim, a chassan from the cheder. Okay, he's standing by for the link. It will go live on YouTube for a while after as well. Erez is text TV. I can't send it. I'm in the middle of shir over here. Middle of shir. Rabbitzin, you know that link that you sent to DVJ? Could you send it to Erez, please? If there's some way you can find it on my phone. Okay, great. Shali v'shalachem shaloi. Okay. So the Gemara says that if they dabga chatanim, which reminds maybe that this was during the Merid Bar Kochba, and they were actually dying at war, and that was the Melchizedek Mitzvah when the Roman Empire, the Shibud Malchus, came against Am Yisrael, and we fought. So that Gemara, the fact that Rabbi Akiva mentions that they're chatanim on Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis, it reminds us of the Gemara in Sota Daf Mem Daled Amud Beis that maybe like the chatanim, a chazan during Melchizedek Mitzvah goes out. So that's one indicator. I have one more from Moed Katan that's so sweet and beautiful. It's on the Chav Ches Amud Beis. The Gemara says, Tanu Rabbana, we learn a brayza. Kishemezu banav shel Rabbi Yishmael nichnazu daled zakenim lenachmo. So again, the sons of Rabbi Yishmael died, and 4 zakenim came to be Nacham Avelim. And so now we say, well, who would be teaching the sons of, who would their Rabbi be? What yeshiva would they be in? What yeshiva would the sons of Rabbi Yishmael be in? They would be learning about the Gadol Dor. There would be Rabbi Akiva. So maybe they also died in the same time during the Omer. And let's see if they died in the same time during the Omer, the Rabbi Yishmael's sons were some of the 24,000 Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. So let's see, Rabbi Akiva goes in, let's see what he says. When he's doing the Hesped, when he's doing the Nicham Avelim. Oh no, right? Okay. Na'ana Rabbi Na'ana Rabbi Akiva v'Omer. Rabbi Akiva answered and said, and he quotes this pasuk, Bayom Ahu Yigdal Hamas Beit Yerushalayim. That day there will be a eulogy in Yerushalayim. Kimizbad Bebigas Megiddo, right? Kimizbad Achav, right? Bayom Ahu Yigdal Mizbad Yerushalayim, Mizbad Hadrimon Bebika Migadon, etc. Right? And they quote Achav, and they talk about Achav, and they talk about Yoshiyahu, the two husbands, and Rabbi Akiva brings his husband, and he says like this: "V'ramar of Yosi, that if it wasn't that we didn't have a Targum Yonasan, Haigra lo hava yadana my ka'amar, I would not have known what it's even saying." So this is what the Targum Yonasan translates: Be'idneh hahu yiskei mizbeda b'Yerushalayim. At that time, there was a big husband in Yerushalayim. Kimizbeda da'achav bar omri, right? He talks about a big husband, but it doesn't explain. And Targum Yonasan explains it, talking about the husband of Achav bar omri that was killed by this guy Hadrimon, and like the eulogy of Yoshiyahu, son of Ammon, that was killed by Baruch Chagira. Says so. Rabbi Akiva brings this pasuk, this very very weird pasuk in Zechariah Yud Beis Yud Aleph, very mysterious pasuk. And Rabbi Akiva brings this pasuk about the husband. Okay, they're talking about, he's eulogizing. And so he brings this pasuk. What does he say about it? He says, "It's a kavachomer, v'halo devarim kavachomer." Says Rabbi Akiva, "Isn't it a kavachomer? Isn't it a kavachomer? Ma Achav melech Yisrael, Achav shelo asad el davar echad tov." Achav was a Rasha. He wasn't from. He was Obed Avodah Zarah. He only did one good thing his whole life. Was like military stuff, right? Like he was good, right? Dichsiv. So Achav was actually hit by a spear, and he was dying, but he didn't just like show the whole Am Yisrael that they're dying, because that would have crushed their spirit. So the rest of the time that he was around, like he was alive, and he made it look as if he was still, comes by what? Oh my God, I get shocked every time. So we see the students of Rabbi Yishmael who were, the children of Rabbi Yishmael who were likely learning by the Gadol Hador Rabbi Akiva. So they were students of Rabbi Akiva's, children of Rabbi Yishmael. And we saw that they died. By the way, Rivka, here's a weird boat thing. Okay. So he quotes this pasuk about the valiance of Achav in war. That Achav, even though he was dying, he still stood there and he was fighting for Am Yisrael. Says Rabbi Akiva, quotes this pasuk at the Levaya, or the Shiva of the sons of Rabbi Yishmael, of his students that died during the Omer, some of his 24,000. And Rabbi Akiva says, Kal v'chomer, Achav did good for Am Yisrael. So Kal v'chomer, the children of Rabbi Yishmael, who also died in war, and they were so much greater than Achav. We figured Tzaddikim, Achav was a Rasha. So this is another possible remez raya that the way that they died, the students of Rabbi Yishmael, the way of Rabbi Akiva, the way that they died, the 24,000 students, was not necessarily askara. Askara diphtheria was just a euphemism for cutting your stomach or cutting your neck. But the truth is, we see even Rabbi Yishmael and we see even Rabbi Akiva, both of their children died, and they were both students of Rabbi Akiva. And Rabbi Akiva gives a hint that it was in battle, and they were fighting the Romans. How did the students of Rabbi Akiva, for that reason, we don't swim, we don't listen to music, we don't cut our hair, we don't do laundry during the Omer, all these minhagim, because it was 24,000 times, 20 times October 7th, right? And it wasn't all necessarily in one day, but it was like every day disaster. It was like during the Holocaust, and the Holocaust was even worse, right? But the Kol Dor Vador. But we see that this is the Bar Kochba and Rabbi Akiva. This is them fighting. This is how they died. The students of Rabbi Akiva died. They were in war. We saw a few rayas, and so it's definitely a possible interpretation. I want to bring two more shatim, and then we'll move on to the second part of Shir. When it says Misarah is specifically when you die from a cherev. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Nun Beis Amud Beis, it talks about how you do hereg, how you cut off the guy's head. And the Gemara says, no, it's Misa Menuvelis, and it says, V'havta re'echa kamocha, love your friend like yourself. So you're dafka supposed to pick, even though you have to kill this guy, because Torah says he has to die, but still you're supposed to pick like a Misa Yafa. And a Misa Ra is Misa Menuvelis, is getting chopped up by a sword. And so we saw Misa Yafa, Misa Ra. One of the raya I thought of is that if you go to the beginning of Yevamos, at the beginning of our chapter, right, like that we started with, the Gemara in Yevamos that tells the story of Rabbi Akiva, right before that, so the Mishnah is actually talking about Puruvu, Lo Yivada Adam Piria Urivia. And right away, or right before a thing, the Gemara says, Itmar, Hayulo Banim V'Mesu. What if he had kids and they died? And then the Gemara goes and brings the story of the Rabbi Akiva's students that died. And we're saying that the kids that died, Hayulo Banim V'Mesu, that is the reference. That is another indicator that these guys actually died from fighting the Shibud Malchias, which we are doing to this day, right now, Mamish. But we're not today.
Peru, Uravu, and Itmar in one sugya.
I know, it's your favorite sugya. She loves Uravu, it's his favorite mitzvah, and Itmar is his top 5 yeshivish phrases. So, now, okay, there's one more thing. Oh, no, you know what? I'm not going to bring that one more thing yet. I'm going to bring a Rav Kook. A Rav Kook. Pashut Herenstein, bring the Rav Keg. I'll just like this video. Okay, great. Now, here is the Rav Kook. Hamad Yushalayim. Bayoma hu yigdal Hamad Yushalayim. He's quoting that pasuk in Zechariah. And so Rav Kook, and you can see it here. I'll just show you. It's talking about Shnei Mashiach, Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. He understands that Achav was ben Yosef and Yoshiyahu was ben David, and he talks about it. I'll just go over here so it's on the screen. Check out Ma'amar HaReya, Hamasbed B'Yerushalayim, that actually quotes this very pasuk that Rabbi Akiva quoted. This pasuk is quoted 2 other times in Shas. The pasuk is quoted 2 other times in Shas. The pasuk is quoted in Megillah on Daf Gimel. The pasuk says that when Yonasan ben Uziel said this perush, the world shook. It's Gemara in Megillah on Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. Says the Gemara, the world shook. The Eretz Yisrael shook. Why did the world shook? HaKadosh Baruch Hu was like, you're telling my secrets about loss and love, about Mashiach. You're telling that secrets that are hidden in Zechariah that Targum Yonasan now made it more available. So he says, Targum Yonasan, he says like this, Yonasan, he says, listen, Avishter. Amar Yonasan ben Uziel Raglav Amar, Ani who, I am who, he. I revealed your secrets to humans. It is clear and known before you. I didn't do it for my own honor. And I didn't do it for my father's house honor. The Indian of Mashiach, the Indian of understanding Geula, is doing it so that there shouldn't be machlaikas in Am Yisrael. You know, we should be all working together on these paths of Mashiach, right? Rav Kook, he also talks about how Yeravam ben Nevat was Mashiach. He quotes that Gemara in Sanhedrin, Tzadik Ches, I think. He quotes that Gemara of Yeravam ben Nevat, that you, me, and Ben Yishai will walk into Erez to Gan Eden together, right? Right? The Ravam, Tafzu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, grabs Yeravam, he says, Yeravam is Mashiach ben Yosef. And he says, Chazor b'cha, do tshuva, and me, you, and Mashiach ben David will go to Erez, will go to Gan Eden. He wasn't willing to. Mashiach ben Yosef wasn't willing to, and Mashiach ben David, you know, both of them died at one point in life. We saw in battle. We saw that Yoshiyahu died in battle also. But we saw that Achav and Rabbi Akiva, he specifically says about the students of the children of Rabbi Shmuel. He quotes this pasuk talking about Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. He compares him to Achav. Achav was the Mashiach ben Yosef candidate of Achav, and he got such a big ass bit. The Tikkun HaKlali, the children of Rabbi Shmuel. There's another Gemara in Sukkah which actually specifically says that this has been on Mashiach ben Yosef when he dies. And so these inyanim, the inyanim of Mashiach, Mirza Hashem, they will be revealed soon and clearly, and they will be able to understand that it will bring such a sweet yichud, such a sweet achlus to Am Yisrael. You are in Sukkah and Dafnan Beis on Beis. Okay. So now I'm going to show you this epistle of Rav Shuri Ragon called Igeres Rav Shuri Ragon. Okay. What? Didn't I have it up to the exact perfect place? And now they're you guys, that was perfect. I had it perfectly up. Here we go. So it says Rabbi Akiva, it was Moshe himself for Hariga. So now, who is Rav Shuri Ragon? You know Rav Shuri Ragon?
No.
Yeah, we're at a Sefer, the Igeres of Rav Shuri Ragon.
Yeah, we're reading it right now. But so what is the Sefer of the Igeres? We're reading it right now.
It's all the chavrusas from the Rosh Yeshivas and the Yeshivas of Babylon.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, very good, Harry.
It was one of the first farm that my Rebbe made me read when I got to Yeshiva.
What?
When I got to Yeshiva, my Rebbe said we had to learn it.
Yeah, it's good. And so the Igeres Rav Shuri Ragon, when it's talking about, you guys can see the text in front of you, right?
Wait, Pasha, I just want to make sure I didn't mishear you earlier. Did you say Achav was a Russia?
Russia.
And he was Mashiach ben Yosef?
I didn't say it. Rav Kook said it. And it's based on Targum Yonasan, the pasuk in Zechariah. Chazmai, look at Maimon HaReya. Look at Hamasbid B'Yerushalayim.
Mashiach ben Yosef is a Russia?
No, not necessarily, but you have to see the Rav Kook. I'll say it over in 1 minute.
We just listened to a shir this last week, and that teaches the Mashiach has to be steeped in some type of sin to hide
Well, we
from the
saw
Kabbalah
Mashiach
Kashrei.
ben David. We saw the way to Mashiach ben David was Lot and his daughter was Yehuda, and the whore was Rus, and right. It's a very, very weird
That
thing in
doesn't.
the history of
There,
Mashiach
there
ben
are
David
very,
also.
there are very few people who have never sinned, but you don't have to have not sinned to be a tzaddik
Right.
or to be a.
Achav was an Obed of Odazara Mamish.
Okay.
Mamish. Obed of Odazara. I'm saying,
So that was Mashiach ben Yosef. That's what I'm saying.
and so Mashiach ben Yosef, so Rav Kook says Mashiach ben Yosef is Indian is the Chomer. And Mashiach ben David is Indian is like the Starkite. I don't want to get too much into the Yeshiva Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David right this second.
That's why it says he comes riding on a donkey. Chamor is a chomer.
Chamor. But here's the thing, Rabbi Akiva says that the Talmidim of the students of Rabbi Shmuel were Achav. So he's comparing them to Ben Yosef. The Ben Yosef going to war is a physical thing. Now, Yoshiyahu was very frum. He brought back Torah, got rid of all the idolatry. Yeah, but he was too frum. And he was too machmir on a pasuk. And when Mitzrayim wanted to just pass through Israel to fight Tyre, to fight Sor above them, Yoshiyahu was like, no, I'm going to be machmir on the pasuk of Cherev lo ta'avor ba'artzachem. And I'm not going to let you go. Says Baruch Chagira. Okay, good. I'm going to kill Yoshiyahu. And he killed Yoshiyahu and he killed Gedaliah. And that's Pshat and Som Gedaliah. There's a sweet Rav Kook over here that talks about Mashiach ben Yosef. And now to talk about the Mered Bar Kochba. Okay, so we saw a few Gemaras, Taka. We saw a few Gemaras that indicated that maybe they were fighting the Shibud. And we saw the Farish Rav Shariragon, who says that it was Shmad. Shmad means fighting the Romans, right? Shaza Shmad. And so that's the Mered Bar Kochba. And so I could bring a few Gemaras in the Mered Bar Kochba, which I want to do, but I'm going to bring them in a very special way, because I am going to bring these Gemaras actually talking about in Rav Kahana's Or Rayon. You know, we quoted Rav Kook, we quoted Rav Kahana. We got two Kohanim in here today talking about. Okay. So Rav Kahana makes a very important distinction. He says the first Galus, according to the Pasuk in Yirmiyahu, it says Shivim Shana Efkedeschem. After 70 years, I will save you. But the current Galus, there was never a time limit for the current Galus. Therefore, Rabbi Akiva says it can happen right now. Right? We have the Gemara's and Edge in Sadiq Es that Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi found Eliyahu, and he's like, "Yo, when is Mashiach coming?" He says, "Today." Hayom imbikolo tishmeru. Mashiach it can come any day. It can mamish come right now. It can come in our time. The Muslim Mashiach, we got to build the base of Mikdash, right? The Gemara in Shabbos, Samech Gimel, in Sanhedrin, Tzadi Taz, Samad Aleph. Ein bin alazim Mashiach el shibud malchus bilvad. It's this shibud. That's who Rabbi Akiva and Bar Kochba were fighting. And just one more nakud, even though the main point of this shir is not a shir on Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. I could give a shir on that at one time, but I didn't. That was just. I just wanted to say on the side of Cook actually says this pasuk is talking about Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. But Rav Kahana brings a Moradik Yerushalmi in Tainus Dalit Hey. It says, Dani, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says this, Akiva, Rabbi Akiva, my Rebbe, he used to say the drasha, Darach Kochav, Mi Yaakov. And so it says that the star comes from Jacob. Darach Koziva, Mi Yaakov, Ben Koziva Bar Kochba. He was coming. Every time he would see Bar Kochba, you know what Rabbi Akiva would say? Dain hu Malcolm Mashiach. Rabbi Akiva thought this is it. This is it. It's happening right now. Let's go. Achdus, everyone. Let's go. Mashiach. It could come with Bar Kochba. But Rav Kahana explains that Bar Kochba was like, it brings an Eicha Rabbah and says, no, Hashem, you just don't. Sorry, Gittin, right? Or Yerushalmi, right? He would say to Hashem, Lo tizdov v'lo tichsov. Don't help, don't hurt. I can do it alone. He had arrogance. And that's why we're in Zocha. And so, by the way, Achav also, the Am Yisrael wasn't Zocha that Achav should be. He was a candidate for Mashiach ben ben Yosef. He had the ability to become, if we were going to be Zocha. We see that Mashiach ben Yosef is talking about fighting the Shibud. Mashiach ben David also was fighting the Shibud with Yoshiyahu, but he was really just being too frum and wouldn't fight and then got killed. But we see Mashiach ben Yosef, even if Acha was a Russia, over the Vodazar, but still doing good for the Chomer of Am Yisrael, doing good, right, in war for Am Yisrael, the soldiers. No, we talk about there's maybe not one guy. This guy is Mashiach ben Yosef. He says these kids they were Bechina, they were Nitas of Mashiach. It's the path, the two paths. And we're fighting, and it's fighting the Shibud. Specifically, it's fighting the Shibud Malchia. This is the same Roman Empire that did October 7th. Is this that with Hamas as a militia? Is the same Roman Empire that killed Rabbi Akiva and killed his 24,000 students and killed Jesus and killed the Harugi Malchus? I wanted to, and again, I'm also not doing shir on the Shibud. I've given shir on the Shibud, and I will in the future also. I wanted to just bring one nikuda right now about the Shibud. Maybe I'll bring two nekudas, one pasuk and then a Gemara, and then we'll end shir. So it's a pasuk in Bereshit. It's going over like the lineage of Esav, and it says Aluf Magdiel, Aluf Aram, Ela Aluf Edom, the Moshvosam Be'eretz Achuzasam, who Esav Avi Edom. Edom we know is the Roman Empire. And so it says straight up, this is Esav. There's a fascinating Rashi here. Rashi says, Magdiel, that's Romy. And I read that, Rashi on Chumash, and I read that, and I'm like, clown spy. I'm like, Mary Magdalene. What's going on over here? What is it, Da Vinci Code? Magdiel, Mary Magdalene? It's got to be connected. But I don't know Pshad, and that's not what I'm giving share about. But I wanted to end with this Gemara, with this sweet, sweet Gemara in Bava Basra. The last Gemara in Cheskas Habatim. Tanya, Amar Rabbi Yishmael ben Elisha. Oh, the same Rabbi Yishmael whose sons died. Unbelievable that he's coming back. I did not know that. Amar Rabbi Yishmael ben Elisha. Miyom Shecharav Beis HaMikdash, and the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Din hu shenigzar al atzmeinu shelo lecho bazar v'lo lishtos yayin. We should have no meat and no wine. Right? Ella ein gozen gezer al tzibur ella imgein rov tzibur yechol lamod ba. We don't make a gezerah. They're abundant on the seaboard if they can't handle it. Right? Says the Gemara Vayter. Umiyom shepashta malchus harasha. Now who's malchus harasha? When the Gemara talks about malchus harasha, who are they talking about? The satanic pedophile Roman Empire, of course, malchus harasha. Techei Armon b'tzel Salmon. Right? Edom. Romi, Magdiel. So when the Roman Empire took over, who knows when the Roman Empire took over and started controlling the world in the Alma Teshikra? It was 2024 years ago. What do you think we're counting for? Everyone's like, oh, New Year's. New Year's, you got freaking idiots celebrating their own slavery. And so from the time that the Roman Empire spread out across the land, they gave us gezeros that are bad and difficult. And I saw this Gemara also during the pandemic at the beginning, and I was like, gezeros raos, masks, gezeros kajos, vaccine. Umivatelas mimenu. Torah mitzvos, right? They don't let us do Torah mitzvos, the Shibud Malchias. Maneches ozanu, ve'ein maneches ozanu likanes l'shavua haben. They don't let us go into the bris. Ve'amri la Yeshua haben, which is a talk about Pidyon haben. It's called Yeshua haben, and it's pretty crazy. I know that some people are like, oh my God, it says Yeshua haben. I mean, Jesus is the Son. It actually means Pidyon haben, but it is a question why it uses the name of Yeshua haben. You know, But so they wouldn't let us go to bris or pigeon aben. So dinu shenigzor alatzmenu shaloli seisha v'loholi button. We shouldn't even get married and have kids. That's the strict letter of the law. How can we? How can we have kids? How can we have any happiness? We don't have a sweet Beis HaMikdash, and the Torah is being held from us. How is it possible that we're gonna still go get married, have kids, all the joyous things in life? Really, what we should have done is stop having kids. The Nim says, "Zarosh Avravinu Kala Me'elav." You know what makes sense after we lose the Beis HaMikdash? Suicide, national suicide, just end it. But Ella Hanach Lemli Israel, leave the Jews alone. Mutav Shogin, value, let them live their life. They don't have to know that they're supposed to just freaking let themselves die and let us be wiped out because we don't have Beis HaMikdash. So how can we even continue living? Hanach Lemli Israel, let Yisrael, leave them. Let them do what they need to do. And it's better that they should, they should be shogeg. Let them make a mistake rather than telling them that they can't have kids, can't get married, and then they'll do it anyways, and then they'll be over on purpose. We see this idea of Hanach Lehem Yisrael. We saw today. We saw a Rabbi Yonasan ben Uziel. He was saying, Hashem, let me explain the sugya of Mashiach. And I'm not doing it so that for my honor, for my dad's honor, my dad's house honor. I'm doing it so that there shouldn't be a machlokas in Am Yisrael. And we also see, for the first thing we saw, we asked the question, why did they die in the time of the Omer? Because they didn't have respect. We see this come out again and again and again, the importance of achdus, the importance of being together, the importance of respect for one another, even if a person has a different opinion in a certain sugya. Hanach lehem Yisrael. Leave Am Yisrael alone. We have too many enemies outside. We have too many people. The Shibud. And the entire UN is all Shibud, Vatican puppets. The entire media. There are too many people trying to destroy us and bring us down. And in the time of Sefirat HaOmer, we should be zochet to remember and recall and review the importance of achdus, of Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael. And as soon in B'tzara Uvashivya, Mamish, where some of us are in Sarah, some of us are in unimaginable torture from what's going on to our family, and some of us are actually being captured right now. And the captured Yidden are not only the ones in Gaza, but also the ones that are still voting and playing and think that there's a globe and think we landed on the moon, etc. All of those Yidden are caught by the propaganda and they should be freed. And as soon as Shivya Ha'omdim Bein Bayam Uvim Bayabasha Hamakom Yerachem Alehem Yerachem Alehem V'yotziyeh Mitzara L'shev V'yotziyeh Mitzara. I can only do what I'm saying. Hamakom Yerachem. You guys can join. Yerachem Alehem V'yotziyeh Mitzara. We should be zochet to internalize these words. We should be zochet from Shibud Malchus to Geula show, from Shibud to Geula. And it's going to come with achdus. It's going to come. We got to talk each other up. We got to say, yo, Mashiach, what's up? You know? Rabbi Akiva, whenever we see Bar Kochba, he'd be like, yo, it's Mashiach right here. Because we can all be Mashiach for ourselves. First of all, obviously, we all be Mashiach for ourselves to save us from the evil emotions. No one's going to save us. Definitely not no doctor prescribing pills. Everyone has to save themselves and bring themselves a personal geula away from the Yetzer Hara, which is the Satan, which is what the Malchamav is, what the Shibud Malchus worship. who's just a slave of Hashem, just a servant. And we should be zocha to be ba'achdus. We should be zocha to keep on steiging Torah and Yeshiva School Shol. It's such a schus. And we should be zocha to bias beis hamikdash bayis shlishi b'meher b'yameinu bias Mashiach and binyan bayis shlishi. We should take down the Shiva Marias, get all our kalim back from the Vatican and from the Roman Empire that killed 24,000 Talmidei Chachamim, and in this time, about 2,000 years ago. We should be zocha to avenge them. We should be zocha to avenge all of the Yiddish mothers who cried countless tears on their children being murdered in front of them. We should be zocha to take vengeance against the Roman empires for the Crusades and the Inquisition and the Holocaust on October 7th. And we should be zocha to follow in the path of Rabbi Akiva and continue this yeshiva, continue steigen Torah, even though they tell us not. Continue steigen Torah. And we should have siyata d'shmaya not to, we should have siyata d'shmaya to live, not to be one of the 24,000 students that shouldn't repeat itself again. It's even too much if it's 2.4.
Amen.
We should be zocha to see tzmichas beis David and beis Yosef, Karen David, right? Sugas David. We know we have the Mashiach is based on Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David coming together. It's mamish this idea of Achdus. It says that when they come together, the Eitz Yosef and Eitz Yehuda, and they come together, then they can burn Esav to the ground. But it's not going to happen if there's machlokas. It's not going to happen if there's no kavod, and it's not going to happen if there is machlokas, no kavod, and if it's not hanach lahem, if Jews are like going crazy on other Jews, they don't realize that the Sheba is trying to take it down. Okay, I think this is my time.
I just wanted to say I
Yes.
can't end, so whenever you're ready, you have to do it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do it anyways. But
Okay,
so shkayach everyone for coming. We were all live on Facebook today doing a shir. I know that Erez asked if Pashut Herenstein can give a shir, but we ended up doing that. No, we had a yeshiva school shol shir, and wartime Zuzdag number 145, and we should be zocha to get to 290. Much love, everybody. And everyone have a beautiful Omer and a beautiful day, and just be b'simcha and be b'achdus. I love all of you guys so much. And I'll see you, Amir Hashem, tomorrow, Wartime Zuzag number 146.
amazing share. Thank you.
Bava Basra, Perik Moicher Zazvina, Ayin Dalit on base.
Amazing share. Thank you, Shmuel.
Oh, thank you guys so much for coming. It was teamwork makes the dream work, as is with all shiurim in Yeshiva School Show. And so it's a big schus. And listen, Rabbi Akiva's yeshiva, we're fighting the Romans. And we are fighting the Romans also, but we will have Mir Tishem more Atzlacha. We should be zocheh to be humble and to understand that it's always the Eibishter. That was a Mashiach ben David type mistake. When Bar Kokhba was like, "Oh, Hashem, don't help them and don't help me, and I'll be fine. I'm such a good warrior." We should be zocheh to know that it's all the Eibishter, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will give us siyata d'shmaya. Has his Fhima, Kol Tuv, Omer Sameach, Shkai Kluds. All right, so I went off on Facebook, and I'll go off on this. I just X'd out Facebook actually, so I don't know what's happening. Oh, stop share. I can click, and then I can click.
Close Zoom. Close Zoom.
Close it. Zoom. What?
Son died.
Stop.
What?
Clouds mine.
Clouds, what?